Hello and welcome to New York Theater Barn's New Work Series. I'm Joe Barros and I'm the Artistic Director.
Hello, and I'm Jen Sandler and I'm the Associate Artistic Director.
Hey, Jen.
Hello.
This afternoon, Jen and I had the privilege of speaking on a panel for a webinar hosted by the National Alliance for Musical Theater.
Yes, we loved AMPed. It was a lot of fun. We got to talk about what it has been like creating this platform over the past 2 months.
That's right. We took a major obstacle and saw it as an opportunity to evolve the way we develop stories, the way we tell stories, and the artists and audiences we serve.
Absolutely. And we got to hear from our friends at Theater C and Theater Works Silicon Valley. And it was so inspiring to hear about the community during all of this and how we kind of all are doing the same thing in a different way and coming together.
That's right. And you were the only woman on the panel, and you were absolutely incredible.
Thank you. You were incredible too.
Thank you. This is the 8th virtual installment of our New Work series, and tonight we will present excerpts from the new musicals, Mary and Max and Second Line.
Yes, last week we featured 2 new musicals, Here and There and Half the Sky.
Both musicals, Here and There and Half the Sky, are commissions of the Fifth Avenue Theater's inaugural First Draft Raise Your Voice program. Here's a clip from last week's presentation of Here and There. Take a look.
Here and There chronicles gender self-discovery and intergenerational queerness with a side of punk rock.
I never heard the word non-binary. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know that you could opt out of the system that I'd always felt really trapped by. So I really wanted to write a story about what happens when you discover something about yourself when you're already an adult. We wanted to write this intergenerational queer story about what happens when a millennial queer person meets up with an old guard lesbian, because we're as queer people and women, we're not getting access to these sorts of opportunities to help develop our work are so few and far between. So we're so grateful to people like Theater Barn and the Fifth Avenue and anyone to help us.
And it's just them sort of welcoming Sam into the club and into the world of what modern day millennial queerness can look like.
I'm Aiden. I use he, him, I'm 23. Don't need no one to care for me. I'm hungry. I'm Alice. I'm butch, I'm trans, I use she, her. I run the women's shelter on E Street. Skylar, he, him, EMT. Zach, I go by he or she. Cosmo, they, them, Mater D. Just call me little Jimmy Dean. Lillian here, I'm on my break. Tattoo transfem from Silver Lake. Dylan, they, them, I work in IT. Please don't make me sing. Now, Sam, welcome to the group.
Wow, and thank you again to Heather and Alexi and to Jasmine and their performers for just making that happen. That was such a beautiful story. And here's a clip from last week's presentation of Half the Sky. Take a look.
Half the Sky is a contemporary American musical infused with the sounds of traditional Thai and Himalayan folk music.
The Sherpa language doesn't even have a word for summit. It's a very foreign idea to that part of the world, but yet Everest has become a part of this very individualistic, the narrative of the colonizer.
Taking the A591, colors on fire in the setting sun. Wordsworth could never have done justice to this. Down the hill like water on glass, slowing down time.
Not even 2 years later, we have a full show, and we have developed this show in several places. So yeah, it wouldn't even exist without the Fifth Avenue support.
We recently won the Weston Ghostlight New Musical Award, an incredible honor which came with a professional demo, which is now available at halftheskymusical.com. We'd love for you to hear the Asian influence in the score. We took care, especially to Taya, to infuse this score with the traditions and the culture of the people who live around Everest.
Open up the tent and walk through. Mong tung wela, mong tung wela, ที่ฉันตาเดิน
Nothing ahead or behind, leave it all behind. Let's take the A591 right through the fire of the setting sun.
Oh my God, that show makes me cry.
We just love that show. We've both been singing that show all week. I actually put that track on while I was doing the dishes this afternoon and sang with Diana Hewitt. So that was a lot of fun. We're happy to announce that since last week's presentation, Half the Sky was chosen for a residency as part of the Rhinebeck Writers Retreat. So congrats to the writing team of Half the Sky. And Rhinebeck is a fantastic retreat created by Kathy Evans, who used to be the executive director of NAMPT. And one last thing I wanted to say about Half the Sky is that what's so beautiful about it is the global story of Mount Everest is really about the settler. And this musical sort of reclaims the story from the perspective of the natives. And it's just an extraordinary score and unlike anything I've ever seen in a musical. So I can't wait to see what's next for the show.
Yeah, and I hope people will get to see it soon. It's just so, so special and different. So we're going to keep presenting these virtual installments of our programming for as long as we need to.
Exactly. We are proud to keep original live theater alive during this unusual time. And here to tell us a little bit more about New York Theater Barn is co-president of the board of directors, Rob Wise.
Hi, I'm Rob Wise, the co-president of New York Theater Barn's board of directors. I've been on the board of directors for 5 years, and what a privilege it has been. 6 years ago, I bumped into New York Theater Barn president and our dear friend, Sheila Ray. More importantly, Sheila Ray was my mother's co-writer of the musical, Funny You Don't Look Like a Grandmother. Sheila asked me to be on the board, and I thought about it for about 2 seconds and gave her an instant yes. And how glad I am. Soon I was attending readings of new musicals that were telling new stories in new ways. No other company was doing what New York Theater Barn was doing. Beside being hooked on Sheila, I was immediately hooked by New York Theater Barn. And today, I'm still hooked, and I think you'll be too. Ever since joining the board, I've had the pleasure of seeing and supporting an extraordinary number of wonderful new musicals in development. My wife, Denise Wise, is also our managing director, so for us, it's a real family affair. At New York Theater Barn, we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and because of it, your donation today is completely tax deductible. At New York Theater Barn, the door is always open, so please join me in making your gift today. And I'm excited for you to see tonight's 2 new musicals, Second Line and Mary and Max. For some of you, you'll always get to say that you saw them here first. So thank you for supporting live theater and enjoy the show.
Oh, I just love Rob Wise. Thank you so much, Rob. And not only is Rob the co-president, like you said, his wife is the managing director, and their son, Alex Wise, is the Broadway actor who is also one of the co-creators and actors of Indoor Boys.
Yes, and we love Indoor Boys. So both of tonight's musicals, Mary and Max and Second Line, were developed and presented in Pace New Musicals, a part of Pace University.
And now here's a message from prolific director, new works curator, and educator, Amy Rogers Swartzreich of Pace New Musicals.
Hi there, my name is Amy Rogers Swartzreich. I am the director and founder of the BFA Musical Theater program at Pace University, as well as Pace New Musicals, where both Second Line and Mary and Max had development workshops. Pace New Musicals was started 15 years ago with the intent to give our students real-world education on how to develop new work. I wanted to actively train them into how to be in a new workspace and to work with writers and to establish relationships with them as well. We have found that the pedagogy of teaching how to develop new work from an actor's point of view has been invaluable to our students, and working both on Mary and Max and Second Line, as well as many others, has given us the opportunity to create really wonderful relationships with these writer teams as well. Pace New Musicals has moved into a submission process where we get up to about 100 submissions for our Pace New Musicals development series. We select pieces that are primarily complete, so we can put it up in front of an audience with no text, sort of in workshop format. And the key, though, is that the writers are an integral part of the collaborative process. We're also established a Pace New Musicals Lab, which is a program that runs simultaneously, but is for a piece that is brand new, and it can be student written or something that is really in the foundational stage of development. So that's Pace New Musicals, and I'm thrilled that you will be able to hear more from Second Line and Mary Max.
Thank you, Amy. So our first musical tonight is Second Line. Based on the novel Toast by Rex Rose, Second Line is the new musical from celebrated musical theater writing team Carner and Gregor. With its jazz electro pop fusion score, Second Line chronicles a fractured New Orleans woman who quickly falls in with a crew of misfits seeking to transfigure the pain of existence in the wake of Hurricane Katrina.
And now joining us are the writers of this amazing new musical Second Line, Sam Carner and Derek Gregor.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Thanks for having us.
It's great to have you both here. Jen and I are super nerdy fans of your work and have been for such a long time. And we've worked with you before, and we are so excited about the show. What inspired you to tell this story?
Well, it's a post-Katrina New Orleans show, and I have a lot of family from New Orleans, including my uncle Rex Rose, who wrote the novel Toast, and that's Rex as in like the king of Mardi Gras. That's what it's named for. So it's close to home in that respect. And I read this novel, and it with no expectations of turning it into a musical, but had such vibrant characters that really leaped off of the page and all suggested their own musical worlds. They're all in search of a kind of redemption, and that felt really powerful. Ultimately, as we developed the show, it's become about in large part about the journey to gain acknowledgement from those in power in a world where you feel that they and the government may not really even want you. And that also, for these characters, involves gaining acceptance of themselves, of their own worthiness. So those themes really resonated with us as we developed it.
Wow. And can you tell us more about the development? You've had a long path. I know you had a different title at first for the show, and I saw recently when you did it Pace.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it started life as Toast for the novel. We recently changed it to Second Line. And it started out at with a workshop at the Bloomington Playwrights Project in Indiana, which we love. We've done a couple pieces there, working with Chad Rabinovitz, and they're great. And we did the first workshop there, and we went on to a workshop at Coastal Carolina University, reading at NC State University, and just recently this Pace New Musicals experience, where we gained so much.
And I know that experience was so cool for me to watch because you had all, kids 22 and under playing it. And I'm sure that was cool for you as an experience.
Absolutely. Yeah. Such really passionate storytellers.
And like unedited performances, I'm sure, in a way that, professionals out of college don't think about it even.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a kind of energy working with such young performers that really is always inspiring.
But I think there's also an energy about you and Derek as well. You really sort of capture the pulse of a really young spirit. Often in a lot of your music, you have so many young people performing your work on the internet, and I'm sure asking you for your music all the time. It's really exciting to see. your songs constantly online in auditions?
Well, Joe, I think you're a big part of that because we started off at Theater Barn before anybody was doing anything with our work. So I think we had Jeremy Jordan do a song at a Theater Barn concert, and that really launched a lot for us. So I feel like we're all in it together. So thank you to you guys.
Thank you. And you guys were a part of our very first, the beginning of our musical Small Town Story, which began as Spear Grove Presents. But we are so excited about the jazz electro pop fusion score of Second Line. So we'd love to meet our first performer and hear about this first song.
So who is our first performer tonight? Do you guys want to introduce them?
And I'll let you do all the intros and all the explaining. Keep it short.
Sure. We're thrilled to have Austin Scott singing this first number tonight. Hey, Austin.
Hey, everyone.
This song happened right near the beginning of the show, taking place at this underground nightclub in a warehouse, and Mark Jesus looks around, and these are his thoughts.
Cool, so let's do it.
Living hard in the big easy, don't stop to think. Block the future, dumb out the past, drug the present, we're free at last. On the brink, drunk and resigned, girl, he says she'll blow my mind. Blast me off the ground and everyone around's all, let's have one more drink. All the attraction of a distraction, this girl's ready for action. I would live in oblivion if I could. Tell me, girl, what do you believe? What you want this world to achieve? Make it up, just make it good. When we know what to work for, when we see something through, when the morning light comes creeping, what the hell we gonna do? What are we drinking to? 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 Seen my share of death and destruction, a bureaucrats say face. Thought American folks would care, but the 1% don't fight fair. Seeking grace, none to be found. America slept while New Orleans drowned. GDP flowing, the ocean growing. So long, human race. We love our freedom fighters, but we love dictators too. Circus masters in the shadows, slowly dice, nothing new. What are we drinking to? 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 We have to move forward when our heart says turn around. We have to build a home when we got no solid ground. We have to build a future when they're gonna tear it down. They tear it down, tear it down, tear it down. They tear it down, tear it down, tear it down. When we just work together, can't we see something through to a lion still forever? What the hell we gonna do? What are we drinking to? What are we drinking to? What are we drinking to? What am I drinking to? What am I drinking to?
Thank you, Austin. That was amazing. Someone has a dog. We love dogs.
Hey, someone just knocked on the door and the dog's barking.
Awesome. We can't hear the second song. Let's talk about that one. Let's bring on our next guest, Laguna Blue.
I think everybody is waiting for, according to the comments.
Yeah. Welcome. We are so excited that you are here.
Oh my God, I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you. You were incredible in rehearsal, and I can't wait for everyone to see you. Yes, Diva.
We had a lot of comments about you.
Well, thank God. That makes me excited.
I was so excited about your involvement in this, and I found out that you were in the production at Bloomington Playwrights Project in Indiana, and because of your involvement in that was your first foray into drag.
Yeah, that's right. I remember we were rehearsing. This was back in 2016 in January, and I had a very successful career in theater. I was always working. I was always, doing things like that. But I will never forget the moment when our director Emily, she was like, Laguna, she was like, can you put your hand on your hip and stand in a bevel, David at the time. And I was like, oh my God, yes, can I? And I remember Sam, and it just felt so natural for me to express my femininity on stage, and to, I have never been challenged with not even challenged, I've never been given the opportunity to portray a character who is so fluid and so comfortable in their femininity. And so that was really a huge awakening for me. And when I got back to the city, Sam asked me, they were like, oh, David, do you think that you're going to continue dabbling in drag? And at first I was like, no way. But bitch, that bug bit me hard. Okay, and so I've been doing it full time ever since, and it's been one of the most amazing and most lucrative experiences of my life. Hi, Kiki, and I love it. It's totally changed my life. I'm the happiest I've ever been since I started doing drag. So many thanks to you, Sam and Derek, for believing me and letting that happen. So thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I think now more than ever, drag is so important because it makes us smile and lifts our spirits. You are an incredible performer, and you empower people, and you empower young people. We're excited that you're going to sing this song. Can you set it up for
us? Oh, no. Of course, let me put my phone on silent so that doesn't happen in the middle of it.
That's the beauty of these streams. Anything can happen, and that's how it is.
Honestly, the show must be right. But yeah, I'm super excited. This song means a lot to me. Should I talk about the song just a bit, or?
Sure.
Into it. Well, the song is a really amazing song. It's called Firefly, and it goes at the end of Act 1, and it's a very dark, pivotal moment in the show where basically the home of all of these characters that you're starting to fall in love with is basically shut down, and my character Kay comes in and is basically the light, and it's just reminds everyone that they have each other, and that though things are dark, we have to remind ourselves, and we have to be the light, in the dark situations that we're facing, especially as, queer people in general. So, this song is so powerful, and it means so much to me. And I feel so, lucky to have been a part of it and to have this song in my wheelhouse. It's such an incredible piece of music.
Let's hear it.
Work. All right. Well, let's get this show on the road, honey. Let's do it. Technical difficulties, no need for alarm. Don't you love a FaceTime call to just throw things off? But anyway, while I fix this, it's no problem. Anyway, this song is really, here we go. I hope you enjoy it. Out in the meadow one night, on a thin blade of grass, sat a young firefly, scared of emitting his light, for fear he would die. His mother had warned him, bats, badgers, and bears all will be drawn to your spark. They'll love it, but not know quite why, and they'll make you their mark. A cricket who fiddled nearby saw him there waiting and said, "Brother, how can you hide all your light deep inside? You look so divine."
So shine, firefly, into the darkness. Never let them steal your dance. Be our guide till the morning, and fill this black expanse. What else is all the night make music for? Then setting a rhythm to your flashing, soaring light. Don't deny that you're bright, don't be shy. Come on, firefly, light up the sky. Nature puts spark in your heart. I can see that you're working so hard to suppress the need that burns deep in your soul, to bioluminesce. So thick, and the firefly lit up his tail. He flew up and sent out a flare. The other scared fireflies saw him and started to dare. So shine, firefly, into the darkness. Never let them steal your dance. If you shine till the morning, and fill this black expanse. What else is all the night make music for? Then setting a rhythm to your flashing, soaring light. Don't deny that you're bright, don't be shy. Come on, firefly, light up the sky. Nightingales, cuckoos, bats, badgers, and bears came out as if in a trance. Seeing the fireflies twirling, they joined in a dance. Yes, they all knew when tomorrow came round, they'd do as all predators ought. But in this new galaxy's light, tonight they forgot. The truth is we're all fireflies, all of us waiting our lives for a sign, forgetting that we are the stars that have to align. If you send out a spark, you'll be part of a dazzling design. So shine, firefly, into the darkness. Never let them steal your dance. If you shine till the morning, then we might have a chance. What else is all the night make music for? Then setting a rhythm to your flashing, soaring light. Time for dancing, not standing by. You got a light in you, you can't deny. Night road long makes music for. That we've been waiting for. Don't deny that you're right, don't be shy. Come on, higher, fly, light up the sky, light up the sky. Light up the sky, bitch. Work. Oh, work. How exciting. Oh my goodness. What? I love the excitement and terror in singing that song. Oh, I love it. It's so much fun.
Look at that.
Sorry?
You have so many fans in here. Look at all these comments.
Yay.
Oh, work. Okay, I just said one. Oh my gosh, thank you everyone. Thank you so much for that. Sam and Derek, thank you. Oh my God, you guys are too kind. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much
for letting me sing that for you. I love that song. What a powerful song. And I feel so honored to have been a part of the, that first, production. And hopefully I'll be in many other productions of it soon. So that is the goal. That is the goal.
Well, you are certainly part of the legacy of this show. That is definitely for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Laguna Blue. One last thing from Carner and Gregor. Sam is working on something really special in our industry that I thought he should tell you about. So, Sam, take it away.
For sure, yeah. So one of the things that I'm working on starting right now is a new 2-year training program in musical theater creation. Musical theater, lyric writing, composing, book writing, and creative development from a directorial perspective. We're partnering with the Institute for American Musical Theater, IAMT, in Washington Heights, and we're starting a brand new program called IAMT Creators. So we have an incredible faculty already signed up, including Derek, Adam Guan, Pulitzer Prize winner Michael R. Jackson, Anna Jacobs. I think they're going to be featured in one of your upcoming new work series, and Lonnie Price. So Brad Hawk. We're thrilled with the teachers we have lined up. We're currently planning to have our first class begin in the fall. Still figuring out exactly what this COVID-19 is going to mean for everything, but that's our plans. We move forward right now, and you flash the website, which is fantastic. The other thing that's particularly cool about the program is that because we're partnering with the Institute for American Musical Theater performance program, all of the work that students are writing will be developed by IAMT performers. So it will be a chance, certainly for them to experience new work development for 2 years, and also to have the material constantly in the voices of performers, which is a really special opportunity, I think, for our students.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sam. And lastly, just one fun fact. We had Hansel Tan on here a few weeks back talking about his cocktail initiative called QCox. And one of the things we were talking about one day when we were talking about cocktails was that he was in your production of Unlocked, produced by Prospect Theater Company at the Duke.
Yeah, we love Hansel.
Oh, he's amazing.
So do we. Thank you guys for being here tonight, and we can't wait to see what happens with the show next.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
So our next show tonight for the second half of our presentation is Mary and Max.
Yep, and now on to something very different, which is equally as wonderful and weird and as magical. Mary and Max is adapted from the bittersweet 2009 Australian claymation film by Academy Award winner Adam Elliott. 13-year-old Lily, who has recently lost her mother, locks herself in her room, refusing to tell her father what happened at school that day. On the other side of the door, Lily's father shares the story of misfit pen pals Mary and Max with her in the hope of coaxing her out. Lily becomes drawn into the story, realizing her father has his own dark past and relationship with this story. Will he tell her the truth? And will Max's Asperger's and Mary's depression keep these two pen pals apart forever?
Mary and Max had its world premiere at Theatre Calgary in 2018 and a critically acclaimed European production in 2019 at Lands Theatre Linz in Austria, not Australia. Here's a clip from the recent Austrian production of Mary and Max. Take a look.
The story of two unlikely friends who were never meant to meet. Mary Daisy Dinkle. Her eyes were the color of muddy puddles, her birthmark the color of poo. Do you see it?
Yeah, I do.
Then we tell the story together. Mary Daisy Dinkle and Max Horowitz walking separate pathways on two continents. He's in New York City, she Mount Waverly, which is in Australia. It's 1970. She hates her poo spot, and he gets anxious a lot. She's got two eyes like muddy puddles. To Max, the world befuddles. To find their path, they first must find their light.
And now joining us are the writers of Mary and Max, Bobby Cronin and Crystal Skillman.
Yay!
Hi.
Hi.
As I've told you guys, I've been singing that Mary Daisy Dinkle and Max Horowitz in my sleep. And that was the amazing John Elliott from the demo over the Austrian footage. Thanks so much for being here.
Our pleasure. Thanks for having us.
We love being here, yeah.
Of course, when we launched in April of 2007, the finale of our concert at the Darryl Roth Theater was a song called Reach the Sky, which we love, written by you, Bobby. It's
tattooed on my arm.
So cool. It's from a show you wrote called Welcome to My Life, which at the time was called Brats.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very apropos that you are here. We're so excited that you're here. I think everyone would love to know what inspired you to tell this story or to adapt it.
Well, a friend of mine told me that I needed to watch the film. He said, Bobby, this is you. You must watch it. And I did. And 2 hours later, I was on the floor in a puddle of tears, feeling emotions I'd never felt in my adult life. And I texted my agents and I said, I have to tell this story musically. It sang to me. I heard music right away because it's, the story about people yearning for connection. And the film uses a narrator, and I thought, oh, this would be really great that we can sort of bring to life through music what the inner thoughts of these characters are. And then I knew Crystal were old pals, and we'd worked together before, and I knew she was the person that was as quirky as these characters, and we just get along so well and push each other and challenge each other in great ways. And so I brought her on board right away, and we started writing. And within, I think we only had like 7 minutes of material, and we did a presentation at the Kimmel Center in Philly, and people went bonkers for it. They all just kept saying, I've never seen anything like this before. This is just so different. This is so special. And for me, my father had died right around the times that I was finally granted the rights. And so my father had obsessive compulsive disorder. And so I was able to channel a lot of stuff that I was dealing with my father and put it into the story, because Max has Asperger's, and he's someone that is very, he has a lot of like obsessive compulsive traits. So it was kind of therapy for me.
And Crystal, how did you become a part of this project?
Well, there are calls in your life you always remember. And I always believe in the philosophy of Ghostbusters. If someone asks you if you're a god, you say yes. So the minute Bobby called up, and very much the same energy he just shared with you about this story, when I sat and would I be interested in it? And when I watched the film, I write for a lot of comic books, and I'm starting to write for animation myself. And it just really spoke to me. But I think what was incredible about it was the depth of humanity in it. And yet the incredible humor. It's hard to walk that fine line of something hilariously funny, but also so meaningful and dark. And I also saw immediately how it spoke to the desire for connection, and so much of what we're experiencing, even, we're in a pandemic, so that's even more heightened, but, to what we're experiencing today. And this story about friendship and this attempt at connection and with these rich characters was riveting. And for us to then explore how the narration works and why we're hearing the story today, and this other story of Lily and the father, was just a real joy. It's been one of the greatest projects I've ever worked on in my life. And Bobby's music, I always consider that a book writer's job, at least for me too, because I'm like a playwright thinking I'm a playwright, but now I'm a book writer. But it's about taking these beautiful songs and lifting them up, and how do they then weave and build. And Bobby and I are really great at weaving and building together, but also Bobby's songs pierce the heart in a way that is a joy to work with. So it's between book and music. I think the thing we're the most excited about is the fact that people say, wow, I can't tell where one starts and the other begins. And we're really proud of that as a team.
That is that's what you want in every collaboration. Thank you so much, Crystal. I also wanted to say that, Bobby, I love that you can just speak so freely about your father having OCD. My dad also has OCD. And I think that it's just amazing that we have a story that has, real characters telling extraordinary stories about them having Asperger's and depression, and that we can even have a conversation, a global conversation about that right now about neurodiversity is really, really special.
I was going to say, I think, there's a stigma against mental illness, and the more we can address it, the more we can all kind of be together and be a community, especially right now of all time.
So it's one of the major things that drew me to the piece.
Awesome. And before we move into the first song, I just wanted to say, one of the things I did in my research was I saw an interview that Bobby and Crystal had with during the Austrian production, and you talked about the framing device that you invented, and how when you called Adam Elliott, the Academy Award-winning screenwriter, and you told him, he said this.
He said, "Holy F, why didn't I think of that?" And I was so nervous because I was like, I really thought he's not going to go for this idea. And he then said, "I'm going to use this for my work in the future. You just taught me something that you're right. There should be a reason for there being a story being told." It was a wonderful conversation. He's a great man. He's been a wonderful support.
And if you're confused right now, and I'm giving you a little too much inside baseball, basically the film has a narrator, and the musical now
a voiceover narrator.
A voiceover narrator, and now has a father and a daughter dealing with a challenge that they have to work out together, and the story is what drives their story.
Yes.
So let's set up our first song tonight. I know we have Lauren Elder joining us. Let's bring her on. Hi.
Hi, Lauren.
She was in the Calgary production as Mary.
Yeah, she won the Broadway World Award for Best Actress. And Lauren actually was the person that I thought of immediately when I saw the film. And in fact, I believe one of the reasons I saw the film was because she had told my friend and he told me. So it was just crazy that it worked out. I heard Lauren has this great unique voice, and I just wanted to bring in, it's a show about misfits and being different. And I wanted to bring in all my friends and people that I've met in the industry that have these talents that aren't necessarily, perfect for Wicked or something like that. And I've really enjoyed writing a score for these different types of voices. And this song that Lauren is going to sing was not in our production in Calgary. And in fact, our production in Calgary did not have the framing device. And that is what we learned in Calgary, is that we need a reason to tell the story and to take a lot of the onus off of Mary and Max to drive the story forward. And so it was great coming back and doing rewrites. And I said to Crystal, I need to write Adult Mary a big, fat I Want song. And this is it. This is called Fly Right Out of Here.
Another 50 seats, so close, almost there. I have to get there. I will get there someday soon. Once I fly right out of never look back. Imagine a new start. I'll have reason and rhyme instead of passing time. Imagine a purpose. It's so close, it's still a dream until I fly right out of here. Fly. All clear, see my friend face to face. He'll have to find me an excellent place. Fly right out of here, right out of here, anywhere but here, please. When I get to New York, blending in with the crowd, imagine the difference. I'll have friend after friend, and your parties, and then imagine a boyfriend. I guess a girl can dream until I fly right out of here. Fly, no fear. There at last I hold the key, then unlock who I'm meant to be. save the world from unhappiness. Write my first of many books. So I know our love. I gotta fly right out of here. Fly, all clear. Take a leap, try my wings. Who knows what tomorrow brings? Spread my wings and watch me soar. I'll be the one they all root for. Fly right out of
Wow.
That's Lauren's mom clapping.
Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you, Lauren.
Such a wonderful song, and thank you, New York Theater Barn, for having us.
Thank you
Lauren,
for
you are
being
so
here.
fantastic. I love seeing you as the Venus de Milo and Sideshow on Broadway. And we just saw a little message from May Antio, the artistic director of Musical Theater Factory. For you to fly, Lauren. So beautiful.
She's working on a TV show that Crystal and I are creating. She's one of our directors. So working with lots of fun, amazing people. Oh, and Alana Becker. I love you, Alana.
And May Ann is in Singapore right now. So we're so glad she's watching.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you, Lauren. Well, before we take Lauren off, I just wanted to tell, we can
I'll put it back.
I wanted to tell you that I recently went to a salon of this to discuss this show that was hosted by the producers of the show. And one of the first things I said was that I love the material so much that I couldn't imagine anybody else except for Lauren Elder as Mary, and that's who I was imagining the entire time.
Oh, so, thank you, Joe.
So thank you, Lauren, and let's bring on those producers that I was just talking about.
These are the producers of the show, Jessica and Michael Melds.
Hello.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about your involvement with the show.
Well, the moment we read the script, we knew we had to be a part of it, really fell in love. And I think it was Crystal who talked about the dark and funny nature of it. And we've been working with Bobby and Crystal on some other projects, Concrete Jungle being a musical that they've both worked on. And as producers, we always see the producer role as being collaborative, part of the artistic process. And I'm really glad that Bobby and Crystal agree with us on that. And seeing the potential really started for us after looking at the Austrian production, and what that creative team was able to do with the piece showed us just really how wonderfully creative a group of individuals could be working together. And they came up with something that really was beyond my imagination what it could be. So we're really looking forward to what the next iteration of this will be.
And can you walk us through your development thus far? I know you've had a bunch of different productions and labs and whatnot.
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Michael, what wants to take that? Either of you?
Bobby, go ahead.
Sure. We did our first thing at the Kimmel Center with Broadway Dreams. And then we did a lot of development with the Dramatists Guild Foundation, where we would do table readings. I would have friends come in and sing. And then our first On Our Feet was Pace New Musicals. And we did a 29-hour reading produced by Broadway Dreams Foundation in Atlanta. At intermission, we got our offer for our production in Calgary, which was our world premiere. Every writer's dream, right? We always think 29-hour readings don't create anything, and it did, which was amazing. And then we won the Moot Award with the Critics Prize in Germany, which is how we ended up with the production in Austria.
And Drew, I know there's a part of your company that's been a part of the development that is, needs our prayers right now. Who is that?
So we've been working with Bobby and Crystal because we really feel, as Crystal said, Mary Max is a show with a great amount of resonance around the theme of connection. And we're planning to share it with as many people as possible, to wider audiences, whether that means New York, regional theaters, London, Australia, where the film originated. Finding the best theater and path is challenging in the best of times. During this pause in the action for live in-person theater, we're collaborating and putting our heads together, deciding the best course for where the show can go when theaters do open. But we're so enthusiastic about the future for the show, we can't wait to bring it to a wider audience.
And who is someone that's been a part of your process thus far? I was trying to talk about that before. There's someone important.
Yeah, so we had an opportunity to film some videos for Playbill.com, and I got to ask my friend Nick Cordero to sing one of the new songs from that I wrote for the show when we created the new modern storyline. And it's a song called Running. And if you've been following the news, you know that Nick has been quite ill with COVID, and we're sending prayers every day. And Amanda, we send our love to you. And yeah.
And I knew he had an extra hard day today, so we're all thinking about that family. I think we're going to put the GoFundMe link up in the comments that you can give to his family for his rehab and his health. And we look for Nick singing.
The GoFundMe link also follows in the description of the YouTube page. And here is a short clip of Nick singing the song Running from Mary and Max.
Turn on the news and cry. Why should I care? There's nothing to give me hope, yet I keep going. Do I laugh it off, or do I face the truth? Breathless, I'm further from the finish line. I've been running high, I've been running low, I've been running. I've been running high, I've been running low, I've been running.
Sending all our love to Nick, honestly. What a great guy.
Beautiful performance.
We have one more song tonight. What is the second song we have?
Crystal?
Yes, the second song we have is called Sidewalks, and each song is so special in the show. This comes after the climax, so it's super exciting. And when we were developing the show, out of being inspired by the film, I kept seeing this idea of the song Sidewalks. And it is sung by Max Jerry Horowitz, who you've heard a lot of talk about. Max, he starts the show at 44 years old. He's a bit older as it goes on. He starts at 300 pounds. He is wider as it goes on, and as tall as a 6-foot tree. He discovers through the show that he has Asperger's and is diagnosed with it, because the show actually starts in the 70s. And he finds the world, as he likes to put it, confuzzling. Human behavior is difficult for him to ascertain, which he learns is because of Asperger's. He has a book of faces he has around his neck to identify facial expressions. Through his relationship with Mary, he's actually able, by answering her questions and giving advice as she grows up, to put in place the world for himself. This song comes after a moment the show where he's actually felt betrayed by Mary when she's grown older, and he's cut off ties with her. Mary, in her darkest hour, considers suicide. But before she does, and luckily Lily, who is part of our framework of the story, in telling the story, also aids in this magical moment. A last letter is delivered from Max to Mary. They have never met. This has all been correspondence throughout their history together. And this is what he has learned, and this is what he feels so important that he must share with her, and ends up saving her life.
And who is singing the song tonight?
Schuler Hensley, which we are so excited about and honored.
Not just any Schuler Hensley, Tony Award winner Schuler Hensley.
Yes, indeed.
Turn around, I'm right behind you. Turn around, there's something that I need to say. Turn around, I'm right behind you. Turn around. so much more we need to say. My sidewalk, your sidewalk, they must walk on. When I was young, I wanted to be anyone but me, just like you. That's why you and I see heart to heart. Human beings are imperfect. Human beings are endlessly logical. Like sidewalks are sidewalks, they got walked on. Without you, the world was bewildering. With you, I can be me. Without you, there's no meaning. The stars, they blink off beat. With you, my world's in balance. With you, I am complete. Look at us, atypically shaped. Look at us, each so unique yet the same. How I wish our sidewalks could meet. How I wish our direction was one and the same. Like sidewalks are sidewalks, they can crisscross. Like sidewalks are sidewalks, they will crisscross. Like sidewalks are sidewalks must cross. You are my only, and you are my best friend. Warts and all, spots and all, love, your friend, Max.
I'm crying.
This person that said no dry eye in the theater, I agree with you.
That's Jerome. Jerome was our choreographer in Austria. His work is genius. He's a brilliant man.
Well,
Great
we
work,
hope we get to
Jerome.
see the show again soon, and we hope we get to see it with Schuler because that was amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for this
Awesome.
opportunity. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Jen.
Thank you.
Thank you all. And the texts are coming in. People want to go visit Lauren's house. They're talking
So we will see you guys soon. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Bye.
So grateful.
Thank you.
Awesome. And a huge thank you to Katie Kearns for her social media wizardry.
Yes, thank you, Katie. And we also want to thank Hector Flores Jr., our video footage designer, for all his incredible visions and editing skills.
Thank you, Hector. And thanks so much to board member and friend Rob Wise for his kind words and warmth this evening.
Thank you, Rob.
And thank you also to Rob's wife, our incredible managing director and friend, Denise Wise. Jen and I collaborated with Denise on a grant last week, and it couldn't have happened without teamwork. And as you know, teamwork makes the dream work.
Yes.
Well, that's our show for tonight. Join us next week for excerpts of the new musicals, Salam Medina, Tales of a Halfdan, and Newton's Cradle on Wednesday, May 29th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time here on our YouTube channel.
Yes, Newton's Cradle is written by the mother-daughter writing team of Heath and Kim Saunders, and Heath is a friend of mine, so I'm excited about that one.
Yes, and Salam Medina, Tales of a Halfdan is written by Rona Siddiqui, who was the music director of the 2020 Pulitzer Prize-winning musical, A Strange Loop.
I love A Strange Loop. You don't want to miss these new shows. Thank you for tuning in tonight, and thank you for supporting live theater.
Thank you, and good night.
Good night.